Hey YouTube. Alright, so I wanted to do a quick video on one of the really popular position that's being floated around on the left, and that's universal basic income. I know people like Hassan Piker, etc., are really big proponents of that. And there's actually a Silicon Valley tech CEO who's running for president in 2020 on the Democratic side that's pushing for uh, universal basic income. Um, so if you guys aren't really sure what this is, imagine it as social security for all. It's basically what they're proposing. And it's an interesting quest- question as to whether or not we should do it. And funny enough, actually, we as a society came very close to passing it under actually Republican President Nixon. It went all the way to the Senate floor and died in the Senate because Democrats wanted to increase the amount of money that they were going to be dispersing. So that was the only reason why the bill failed and stalled. But it actually did pass the House, and Nixon would have signed it into law. Um, so my personal thoughts on UBI. I personally am against it in the way how it's being proposed. I don't think that we should approach it from a social security for all perspective. I think instead the way how we should approach it is from a as a combination of social programs. So what do I mean by that? I think the way how we should structure UBI is instead of being a social security for all type system, be an expanded unemployment insurance system. So if you look at how most unemployment programs are set up currently, basically you have a limited amount of times. I think it's 12 weeks is the maximum that you can actually collect unemployment for. And after that, you're just on your own, right? I think what we should do instead is we expand the unemployment insurance to be maybe a 1 year system, where you're going to get this if you don't have a job, but you're proving that you are actively seeking employment, that you'll continue to receive the money for this program. I think that would be a viable solution. Or if you, during that time, if you register for a new business, this is another tenant that they can add to the unemployment program, where if you register for a new business and you show proof that you've gotten your business license, etc., they'll give you at least 1 year to try to get that business up and off the ground. I think that if we approach it from that perspective, and you can also throw in some other stuff like if you attend business development classes or something like that, that maybe you get like a higher disbursement, etc. And other improvement projects, you get a higher disbursement. I think if we approach it from that perspective, it's very viable, and it would be something that would benefit a lot of people and actually solve a lot of the problems that we have. Now, all that said, I do not think that this should be done by itself. This has to be done in coordination with other programs like Medicare for All, and you have to have strong rent controls and pricing controls in order to make the system work. The reason why I don't agree with the social security for all basis is because we know exactly how businesses are going to manipulate this. The people who are pushing the most for UBI right now are the tech CEOs. And we all know why they're doing this. And this is the real reason why they're doing this. Say right now, you go to any tech company and you get a job for, say, $20,000 a year, right? The reason why they want UBI or is so that way, they can use it as an excuse basically to pay people less money. So if you're collecting, say, 12 grand a year from the government, and instead of that company paying you $20,000, maybe now they'll pay you, say, $8,000, because the other 12 from the government is offsetting that cost and bringing you back to the salary where you were before. That's exactly how these corporations are going to manipulate that system, and it would be an absolute disaster. So I think if we do it the other way around, where it's a expanded unemployment benefit program, then by far this would definitely work very, very, very well. And it would actually do a lot to stimulate the economy and help to develop the society and help lift people out of poverty. The other thing that it will do, it will actually fix one of the fundamental problems with capitalism, and that's the idea of dependency, where people feel trapped in a job that they don't like, and they have to do it because they need that paycheck coming in every month. And we've seen the damage that this way of thinking can have. Like, this is what's clearly is a big factor in the media, and why the media is reporting stuff the way they are, and why they have the perspective that they are. They're not going to challenge power if they have to depend on the same power for a paycheck to survive at the end of the month. They're going to break on the side of their employers. So if you have a system where people know that they have the confidence that, hey, if I'm in a situation that I don't like, or I feel like I'm being abused, I can quit and not have to worry about starving to death, then yes, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it will really, really help to empower the workers. So, in short, I'm kind of halfway on there on UBI, but I think it has to be in how you implement it. It cannot be as a social security for all type system. That will absolutely not work. And if we try to do that, what's going to happen is the corporate CEOs are going to respond by trying to pay people less and ripping people off. And what they're going to do next is costs are going to just fucking skyrocket. So you have to have other laws in place. You could also do UBI if you have Bernie Sanders' Stop Bezos Act. That becomes law as well. But honestly, I really think the way, way, way better solution, rather than giving people that limited amount of money too every month, is to do it from a expanded unemployment system. Like, that would actually be a pretty game-changing idea if you approach it from that route versus social security for all. That's all I have to say.